evening. You are very welcome. There are spaces to sit on the floor in the front if you want to. I'm Sara Genius, I'm the director of Institut suédois, and I'm also the curator of this exhibition by Ylva Snöfrid at Vanitas. And I think you probably had time to walk around and see it. You maybe also noticed that our main exhibition spaces are closed. We are in a time of renovation and change. And when we closed the spaces, I knew that I wanted to do an exhibition with Ylva, long-time collaborator, with a project that she's been working with for several years. But the only space I had to offer you, Ylva, was within our collection, and the small room over there, and our stairs, and the garden. And I was very happy that you accepted this. And I think you all seen this amazing exhibition that with drawings, paintings, performance, books, are thinking about our place within larger cosmological systems and how that position within those systems actually gives us a dependence on the systems that have a deeper spiritual meaning. When we started to discuss the exhibition, we always work very dialogical, and I knew that you wanted to include the performance that we have in the garden, but you also proposed a series of conversations together with people that meant a lot for you in your artistic work. And the first person that you wanted to invite was Nicolas Bourriaud. You are, I would say, one of the most influential and important curators, thinkers, writers of our generation. And time here is too short to give a presentation of your writings or curatorial projects. I could say very shortly that you right now have just opened Biennial in Guangzhou in Korea.
Still on.
Yeah, it's still on, so we could all go there if you want to. And it evokes a soundscape for the 21st century, thinking how sound could be a way of creating space, because we think about our condition within this space that we inhabit, all of us. And I think if you want to connect your work to Ylva's, I think you could, and now I'm generalizing a lot, is at least the last decade you have been very attentive to how it is to live under Anthropocene, how our living condition within this planetarian system is changing drastically every day. And this attentiveness has also given your work a sensitivity to how we are connected to these deeper systems that connect us all. And I think that could be maybe a beginning of conversation between you two. This evening is in two parts. We have the conversation here in this space, and again, we have a limited space. You are welcome to sit on the floor here in the front if you want to. After the conversation, I invite you to join me at my apartment in the house for a drink and something to eat. You have to go down and pass over the courtyard to do so, but we give more instructions later. So welcome, and again, thank you, Nicolas, for coming, and thank you, Ylva, for making this wonderful exhibition. Thank you.
Yes. So, yeah. So we will start with the ritual. Since we are doing three conversation rituals within the show, and Nicolas is life, sorry. So we start with life, and I'm going to do like the initiation ritual on the actual book with you. And I wonder if we should do it, either you sit where you sit, we do it on the floor, or we just do it here. It's fine. Yeah, I remove this. But you can move as you want to. I mean, freely, since we will maybe have the backs towards you. Yeah, okay, you can stand there.
Okay.
This is the Codex Cosmos and Vanitas life rituel. Now I will read a quote from Nicolas Bourriaud, a Russian poet that committed suicide in the 1940s. She wrote a series of essays in relation to art. Point of view. Art in the light of conscience, in relation to the spiritual world, art is kind of a physical world of the spiritual. In relation to a physical world, art is kind of a spiritual world of the physical. Starting from the earth, it is the first millimeter of air over it, of sky that is, for the sky begins right from the earth, or else there is no sky at all. Check this by distances which clarify phenomena. And from the very top, starting from the top of the sky, it is in that same first millimeter above the earth, but the last one seen from the top, that is. It is almost earth from there. And from the very top of it, it is entirely earth, where you look from. True. Use the book as a curve. Three, Snöfrid's elixir and tea. This is what. Here comes the elixir. This elixir is a distillate made with gold to strengthening the eye, the cell. The gold a crystal ball, some shells, my wisdom tooth. Another crystal ball. So this is all star stuff. It is made out of the same material as we are, and planet Earth, and the universe, and the beginning of the universe. And it is also the Vanitas and the Cosmos, the order of the world. Four in the glasses. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Let the conversation begin, basically. Yeah, I guess so. I mean, it was, we were thinking, I'm thinking of like starting with a little bit of our relationship and then describing a bit of the Codex Cosmos and Vanitas. What do you think about that? Yeah. So I think my first memory of you was in a party in Documenta, that documents or curated. Yeah, like in it was kind of a beautiful place with wooden walls and stuff.
Yeah. I don't remember the party, but I remember the document.
Yeah. And then some years later you came to Rodrigo and my home, like our home, and we had a tea ceremony. It was the last time we had it. It was like maybe
2004.
2004, yeah, long time ago. And we also did it on paintings. It was a very interesting discussion.
At the time we were painting with mirrors.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The oracle, the mirror, it's the same repetition all the time. And then we have been collaborating many times since then. Or, yeah.
Yeah, actually we count. The last time was, I think, 2022 in Venice, the exhibition of energy. And it was a ritual which was very different in its conception.
Different
from the first one I saw.
Yeah.
So I mean, the ritual is not always the same. The formalization is not always the same.
No. Yeah.
But really, let's start with the very beginning, which is the subject of this meeting. We are supposed to talk about life. And I'm very happy that Ylva thought about me for this part, which is life. Because I don't like either birth or death, actually. It's the two ones I don't like. Because I don't like origins or endings. Because they are both actually enclosing us into a conception of life, which is not mine. I think there's no origins and no end. Just this French philosopher Louis Althusser gave a great definition of what is materialism, what is idealism. And the materialist thinker, according to him, well, let's start with the other one. The idealist thinker is the one who gets into the train, any train, and knows where it comes from and where it goes. That's idealism. The materialist thinker, according to Althusser, is the one who gets into the train, he doesn't know even where he is, actually. He gets into the train, he jumps into it, he doesn't know where it goes, and he doesn't know where it comes from. That's materialism. And I do love this definition, because it's pretty clear, actually. There's nothing to do with spirituality, for example. Idealism is the opposite of this. So let's clean that. It's not at all the same. It's a conception of life which is closed at both ends, I would say. And I think that's something I cannot find in your work. I'm not really both have different meaning in your work, and we might talk about it, maybe not today. And there's two, actually. They are not begins and ends. Would you agree with that?
Totally. Yeah, it's.
I never asked you. I guess.
Yeah, that's true, because it's very organic and I cannot stop working, basically. So every part of the artwork is always continuing, and every part of life is an artwork, as I say, if one put it to an extreme, like for instance, all rituals of life in the most simplistic way, like waking up, sleeping, eating, everything like that. And as when you were in our home, but I don't know if it was so much about that then, but like we eat on paintings, sleep on paintings. It's a language within itself. So, yeah.
But we might go back on rituals a bit later, but maybe I would love to know why, which idea behind you decided to have this division in 3 volumes: birth, life, and death. Why did you think about it, actually? Originally?
I think maybe it's like repetitive that I always work with this kind of experiences. Maybe I see it as an existential part of my own life, since I experience the 3 subjects. But as you described it too, it's the life part is of course this never-ending story, but at the same time birth and death is so present, especially in my case. I mean, I have given birth to my daughters, so that was a very present experience. Since I work existentially with what do you say? With life experiences, like from a philosophical point of view. So birth is something that I have experienced later in life, and that's kind
Which is part of your life.
Yeah, it's part of my life, and therefore I can see
It's
it.
not your birth.
No, it's not my birth, but the experience of birth in that sense. And death
It's not your birth.
is not my death. And I have it from the beginning of life. Death. Death has been more present in my life than birth, I would say. Since and that was, it has personal, what do you say? Personal, because of personal things. For instance, that my father was a heroin addict, but you found it out that a little bit later in our relation. And therefore, death was very present. For instance, he got this heart stop, that the heart was stopping when I was a kid, many times. And therefore, like, death was like a threat, but also it was there. And it's kind of interesting because the birth part of this book starts with actually that my sister's son committed suicide, and he did it at the winter solstice, because it's a diary. So the book is a diary from winter solstice 2020, and that night he committed suicide at my sister's home, and he was only 20 years old. So I think it's a paradox with life and death and birth, that it's all mixed together. And and this idea of time, I think the idea of time is connected to the topic we're talking about now, life. Life is like a thin slice or whatever that is in between, like present and past. And that's the beautiful thing now, that we are in this life situation. And one can also see, I think, the decay. I feel it now. I turn 50, and I feel I understand now that it's beginning. We are like flowers, like we will die.
You can have better like.
What will you say? You know, yeah, so we see the rattling, and I think that's interesting. I mean, interesting or not interesting, it's like birth. Like in the beginning, one develops, in the end, one decay. And maybe that's also, that the experience is still life. But I don't believe in birth or death, or almost life either. It's a present time that is always, or I don't believe in time either. But you know what I mean? It's a present. The only thing one can say, maybe, is that it's like a present. The presence or present, I don't know. What do you think?
You know, what interests me a lot in Ylva's work from the beginning is the fact that she addresses very wide subjects, like as you can see, life, death. You know, nobody does do that anymore. You know, this is very rare. You can think about Edvard Munch, The Cycle of Life, or Gustav Klimt, big allegories. That's something about symbolism, actually, also in your original imaginary museum, I think. But even the French symbolists didn't go that far, actually. They just stick to history or myth, but they didn't go into this very wide allegories. But what's interesting is that this kind of symbolic imaginary is connected to the most intimate things you can think about, actually. So you have kind of huge contrast between the visual universe actually that she displays and the themes that she actually talks about, and the extreme intimacy of every word. And I think that's contrast, you know, makes is quite specific, I would say. What do you think about it? Or?
Yeah, I mean, maybe this sounds, now I will answer with a very intimate personal perspective that that connects to art. That I think that I try to understand why I have to be alive, and every step I take and everything I do has to be necessary. And to be necessary, as these rituals, like I'm talking about, like brushing teeth, going to the toilet, count, like everything has to have a meaning as art work, I don't know, in English it's complicated to say, but as art, basically. Otherwise it's not necessary, and if it's not necessary, I don't want to live. So that's my paradox that I'm constantly facing, like in every day, and therefore it also becomes very basic. For instance, when I go to like a supermarket, and Rodrigo, my husband, since 30 years back, or 31 years back, and also my family, they are like joking with me because I come back like with one potato for the whole family. I cannot, because I'm like, what is a potato? Why is this potato here? And
it's a wonderful evening.
Exactly. You know, so it's like I'm questioning everything in all these details, and also, yeah, so I'm never ready, basically, with anything.
What I get from it, that form sustains life.
What does sustain mean?
Like a structure, actually, like something that holds life.
Maybe, yeah.
Gives it a shape.
Yeah, a reason.
I will see art actually in your life.
Yeah, it has to have a reason. And also the contradiction or the, like from the other point of view, if I do something as an artwork, it has to have a reason in my life. So for instance, when you invited me to the show in Montpellier, this Moulin Drive, I did the transmutation ritual with my mirror twin from the mirror world, Snöfrid, and we became one. And after that, we are one. And therefore, for instance, now I have this gold joints that is part of her, or we. If I'm extreme, I would say we. So, and that was an 8-hour long ritual. And it was the reason that I could participate in the show, basically.
Would you consider this as a kind of fictional move actually into your work? It's yes, 5 years ago.
That I changed my name and we became one.
Does it have anything to do with fiction, or is it something else?
It's unfortunately it's not fiction. It's real. It's my reality. So the first poem I wrote, or I was speaking it, was about Snöfrid, was when I was like 4 years old, and my aunt, she was writing it down, and so I have it still. Then, and it was about Snöfrid and our relationship, and yeah. But to get, basically, she became so influential in my life. So to get rid of her, we had to become one. Basically. And that happened, and then I changed my name. And that had consequences in my own life, of course. Like, both as an artist to change for the name after working many years, like
very unusual.
It's unusual, and also like with like the secondary market or whatever, everything falls apart.
Yeah, and artist names are supposed to be like brands. So if you change it, it's absolutely unusual.
Yeah. But I have managed somehow to continue anyhow. I mean, and then when I see a work and meet the work again, so to say, I reevaluate it and I offer the collector to re-sign with my name if it's necessary for me.
Yeah, and this the paradox is that the 3 books, drawings, are like a diary. It's following very closely your everyday life, and they are from what I see actually, there are 3 different entries. Sometimes you start the page with an event, something that happens.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Sometimes it's just a shape,
an
image, or there's a third category, it comes from words.
Yeah, that's true.
So how is it distributed actually? Every day is a kind of different decision about what's the most important?
It's maybe like energy. And also I wanted to get rid of all these unnecessary things in life, in my own personal life, and then I put it in this diary. And so if it was possible to, like the events you talk about, or economy, the ordinary struggle, the kids' different tasks in life, combined with these bigger topics. And what was the third you were saying? Words, yeah, to analyze the words, like the Greek origin, Latin origin, to try to understand also like big questions like the shape of the universe, the beginning, the end. So yeah, there are many different topics, but it's really organic how it have happened, basically. inside the books. What was I thinking? Yes, sometimes the images, I'm never ready, so it's like, if we think about this time aspect, past, present, future, and if it's like a slice that we live in right now, so this slice, or I don't know if it's a good description, but the slice, the thin like cut, or something.
Code.
Yeah, that's like the page in this book. So it's like the reality for me. So every page is this present time, and then it's another present time. And I don't feel any obligations, so it's not formalized. Therefore, it has these different point of views, like the three ones you described. And also the words, like, for instance, I mean, if I'm coming back to the potato, when I'm going to the supermarket. So here is the same, like, I need to know the origin of the word, and so it's like a reality. And that's maybe what you're talking about too, like this paradox between intimate and bigger presence. Yeah.
There's another way we can approach these three books. It's the dimension of the project also. Because this idea of doing one drawing a day, it reminded me something like Onkawara, the conceptual artist from the 1960s, Aneda Hovel, kind of formalization of the everyday in a very conceptual way. But I think here, the content of the work has nothing to do with that, actually. But still, there is this ascesis, this kind of everyday
repetition
of repetition. How did it start, this idea? Why every day? Is it a diary? Was it something else?
It's a way of structuring and what do you say, conceiving, maybe, time and presence of life, I guess. If that's an answer. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
So, if I do this slice or page, it's like taking a space in reality and creating my own cosmos, order of like life, basically.
Exactly. You're not peeling fruit, but you're peeling the day. So
Exactly.
It's cold.
Yeah. Yeah. And therefore it stays, and therefore it became something instead. It's like creating, like what Foucault said, I think, with, I don't know, I cannot pronounce it, le contre espace, what do you say? Like,
it's the heterotopy.
Heterotopy, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From Michel Foucault.
Yeah, the idea of
Counter spaces like mirrors, cemeteries, everything that's completely off social life, in a way, or offering a counter in opposition to our usual space.
And what do you think? Do you think art is that too?
Yeah, it can be.
Mm.
Of course.
And I think maybe my art is like that. It's something totally unnecessary that is in reality.
It's funny that you mentioned the heterotopias by Foucault, because he started thinking about this looking at Edouard Manet's paintings.
Mm, yeah.
And if you remember one of them, for example, which is Un bar aux Folies Bergères, I don't know if you ring the bell or not, you see a woman in front, just behind her there's a mirror.
Yeah, exactly, in the bar.
And mirror is part of the work.
Yeah.
But the reflect is wrong, actually. And you should not see the reflect in the mirror because you're supposed to be located in front of her. So it's, in a way, a counter space. That Manet actually has been that. You know, and Foucault was very much inspired by that.
Mm-hmm.
So it brings back to the mirror of the oracle that you painted at the very beginning. I don't know if you thought about it, but that's completely a counter space. It's completely a utopia.
My work or his work or both?
Your work is both.
Yeah, that was not by medveten and conscious. Not on purpose, but it was there. Since the idea of an oracle is, I mean, that's my interpretation when I've been studying the oracle in Greece, but also in the origin in Egypt, like Vanitas, the goddess of the oracle. It was that the answer, this painting that Nicolas is talking about is an empty mirror. So I'm thinking that the answer comes from within. So the answer has to come from you, and I think maybe with the oracles, my interpretation is that it's like a riddle, like they don't really give an answer because the answer is within you. And therefore, so this oracle had a meaning also for people, that they were coming and visiting the oracle. Rodrigo, my husband, had a gallery in New York, the Flower Gallery, and the oracle was on display, and people were repeatedly coming there to ask the oracle for things, but it's like the answer comes from the person, since it's depicting an empty mirror.
Do you think it's a good metaphor for art in general, by the way? Something that he asks you to get the answers into yourself, of course. That bounces back in a way. Yeah,
I think so. When you say that, I was here, this Vanitas, is an end quote in all the 3 books, and she talks about art here, and there in the life part, she says that what was I don't remember we were talking about. That's it. If I should read it. Art lesson. What does art teach? Goodness? No. Common sense? No. It cannot teach itself, for it is given. There is no thing which is not thought by art. There is no thing, the reverse of that, which is not thought by art. And there is no thing which is the only thing thought by art. All the lessons we derive from art, we put into it. A series of answers, that's what I think, to which there are no questions. All art is the sole givenness of the answer.
Like for instance.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's.
But also, who knows an answer? I don't know. Yeah, that's it.
So, coming back to what I said at the beginning, there are not so many artists who actually address questions which are so wide in a way. That's something you can draw into in a way, very easy in your work. Because we're not used to this anymore. Actually, there's also a shift of civilization, we'd say, global.
But why do we do art? And why do you work with art?
And that's the question.
Yeah. Yeah, since it's not a charade, and it cannot be only for the market or branding. It's needed, like, I mean, that's my personal point, that it's something like a resistance or something else. And maybe it's like the core also somehow of the society. in relation to why we are humans.
Yeah, I believe that too. It's true that there are so many, nowadays, there are so many bad reasons to like art. It's just drawn in a kind of a big marketing soup,
Yeah, exactly.
which deprives us of any content. So where's the content? It's more and more difficult because things are more segmented, specialized, reduced to very elementary questions, and that's a complicated situation for artists today. I was mentioning the cycle of life by Ylva Snöfrid. Nobody dare to do that anymore. And that's
I dare.
Yeah, that's why we're here. And but you see the discrepancy that can exist with the world outside.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But maybe it's always been a bit like that, no? You think that at the time when the works I mentioned were produced, in France you had Messonnier was painting battles of Napoleon. Exactly the same thing, market-oriented, and nothing has really changed.
It's like the academic art was in the 19th century.
Yeah.
And now it's another kind of academic art. And now what I find so interesting, and it's very strange to talk about, I don't know if I should but it's that what I feel is the most necessary between the artwork and the spectator, so to say. Or I can be like a provider, like a servant, something that connects and helps out somehow. And this, what Sarah said with the dialogical part of the work, is that my key interest is that with any spectator, I see everyone as equal, and therefore I'm very interested in the spectator as a person.
Artworks in which you connect.
Yeah, or I can provide help to connect somehow.
Yeah, because you're very present in your work.
Yeah.
Through performances, well, when being in the exhibition space, sometimes you get the performance you did in the garden, but also in many other venues. Actually.
Yeah.
And that's pretty unusual too, actually, to stay, to have a presence, physical presence within the.
And for instance, here it's an epilogue that is a mirror situation of this diary, and I have done like a diary for the exhibition, and one part is for life, one for birth, and one for death. And so every day the spectator can come here and write their own interpretations of life or death or birth. And people are actually sitting there and doing it in this spiral staircase of the show. So what I have experienced also with rituals and my presence, as you mentioned, is that this connection, I don't see myself as necessary at all, but I can provide a connection between the artwork and the spectator. And it's therefore I don't really want to talk about it. Is that it's very, like, because it's not elitistic, it's very democratic. That you have a connection and you open up. Since I'm thinking a little bit maybe like Joseph Beuys also, or whatever, that everyone is an artist basically. And I go even a step further, that I think that everyone is a genius. So therefore I don't see any problem with inviting people like in a dialogical situation, because everyone has their own path and they have their own point of view.
How much time do you spend at the exhibition in Montpellier, Murder and Dwyer, that we to 2017?
I did the rituel, when I met Snöfrid and we became one. It took 8 hours.
But it was a whole day.
I don't really remember. I remember it's 8 hours.
You came back or something?
Yeah, I was there. I was present. I feel very uncomfortable with the. Usually with I try to avoid the vernissage as a. And that's the thing, like to stand beside the work, listen to people what they think, also telling about the work in that sense. It feels like not my thing. So therefore, if I have a reason to show, I also want to do often a ritual that makes sense for the artwork and my life. And so therefore I did this ritual at Milan.
You were mentioning the idea, Joseph Beuys' idea that everyone is not going to be an artist. It also goes back also to surrealism, this idea that it's not a matter of talent, but a matter of being able to welcome the images that knock on the window, to take the expression of to welcome things, to transform yourself into someone who's able to welcome those energies. Is it a way you would indicate as your attitude, actually, sort of welcome actually, energies? Being receptive to energies as a medium, if you want.
That's another part that I'm not like, I don't know if I'm, like, even if I do the rituals and everything, and I'm working with the spirals and all these things. But that's a side thing, that I don't see it as something like a movement or something. I see it as something else. But what was your question?
It can be in a very casual way, the way Rituel was talking about it, when we talked about the surrealism in general. Just being like an antenna.
I see myself as a thread between the artwork and the spectator, like I can help out, like I can be a provider. I'm a servant, nothing else, between these two state of minds. If I'm there as long as it's necessary.
Servant.
I would say servant.
How would you explain that, at least?
Serving, providing, helping out, to maybe, in the end, I think that is like a love relation between the artwork and the spectator, in a way. And I can be there as a host or servant, like whatever, I can help out.
To consider the artwork as an agent.
Agent meaning?
Like an agency.
I don't know.
Having possible action on the world around.
Since I think every artwork is its own cosmos, somehow. What I'm asking every artwork I do is, like, is it necessary for you to exist in this world? If it's not, I burn it or destroy it. If it is necessary, I keep it. And therefore I already have this kind of provider love relation to the artwork. Do you understand what I mean?
Sure.
So.
But the criteria would be difficult to define. Actually, decide.
But when you mentioned Edvard Munch, it's kind of funny because I see him. I have a dialogue with him somehow, and he has this idea with the hästkur, like the horse cure, that he let the paintings be out in the snow. Now I'm trying with the spirals out in the nature, but also as we started to talk about in the rituals of life, that I'm letting, like we eat on paintings in my home and sleep on paintings. The paintings are there as a basic thing, and if they have a soul,
they survive.
They survive.
It's true. In Bush space, they were everywhere. So,
Yeah.
All barns, outside.
Exactly. So I think if they survive that treatment, it's like us. It's like life. It's like the flower. They survive it, but they are better than us, since they can survive longer, basically, till they extinguish somehow. Or, do you understand what I mean?
Yeah.
We have more like a heart, like a, yeah. I mean, they don't have the heart, but they have the soul. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's a beautiful answer, isn't it? They don't have a heart, but they have a soul. And by that, I think we close this part of the